with Richard Masso. Our hosts and their guests are here to talk about comics, movies, random topics, and everything in between. Now, here's your hosts, Ryan and Richard.
The Oppenheimer Projects.
Whoa! It is 8:02 p.m. on November 8th, 2021. I think Richard and I were here like October
15th, something like that.
Like 3 weeks ago, and a lot has happened. All right, so I was thinking about this, and I meant to ask you. So from Boston to, or was it Maryland to Boston to New York to Las Vegas? We've been all over the world.
We have been to a lot of places in the last,
Was that accurate though? You went Boston, Maryland.
I did not go to Boston. I've been to Maryland, New York, but not Boston.
Awesome. I mean, I think, as you know, that Las Vegas thing really just popped up on me there.
Not right. That was, I think, on a Tuesday. You said, "Hey, I got this scholarship, and also I have to be there next Monday." Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, so to go into detail, because that's what Richard and I are doing, just so everybody knows, we're catching up. It's been a while. We've both been so busy, we haven't really even had a chance to text or send each other stupid TikToks or anything like that. Although we did catch up with the Dr. Phil video this morning.
That was helpful. Which is a whole. So I really thought that was going to be the topic for the day. So putting your carts back at the supermarket. Do you feel the police should be involved in that?
Yeah, and I was going to say, and I actually was thinking about doing that's Dr. Phil's a podcast in itself. I mean,
sure, right.
From the way he became famous to, what is it? Cart knockers?
Oh my goodness.
Cart knockers?
It was not cart knockers.
Hold on. It's going to drive me nuts. It's in my my history here.
But I just know from my own Cart narcs, yes. I know from my own social media experience that there are people who feel incredibly strongly about putting carts back. Like, you are a psychopath if you do not put your carts back. And it's kind of funny because I pride myself to a certain extent about not really getting too focused on peer pressure.
Right.
Man, in the last few years, I'm putting that cart back. Like, and I'll be honest, I put the cart back sometimes. Sometimes I didn't. I always was.
Wait, okay. I got to stop you real quick.
Yeah, please.
If you don't, do you at least do the pop the front wheels of the cart onto the median?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And I put it in. I'm not leaving it in front of someone's cart. I'm not letting it roll into someone's cart. I'm gonna pop it up the median. Not to blame other people. Sometimes the places have the places to put them. Sometimes they took them away. It's an interesting mix of what's happened over the few years. But at the end of the day, I should have probably always put it back. But it took being scared of other people to put it. Yeah,
you were making me think, and I'm with you sometimes, because if the one time you didn't, that would be excuse me, sir. Do you not always put your cart back? I mean, the cart's right over there, and they, do the panning, and what's your name? What is your name, sir? The whole thing.
So yeah, that is interesting on that front. So yeah, we're caught up. so for all we've done in the last 2 weeks, putting our shopping carts was what sticked with us.
What reunited us?
Right.
I got to tell you, and I think we all know that I love Monica and her hard work, and I preach about her all the time. I mean, so what happened was they messaged me on LinkedIn saying, "Hey Ryan, sorry we didn't get your email when you applied for the scholarship, but you won." And I was like, "What? No." And I was actually thinking to myself, I'm one of those people that doesn't win. I don't win a scratch off, right? And to win this, I was like, wait a minute, am I being scammed? I got to look into this a little bit. And I was like, oh my goodness, I really won. So I was like, I won. I'm telling everybody I'm so excited. Telling my mom, telling Monica, everybody's excited for me, because everybody knows, I've been saying it, let's be real. I ride Jocko's Jock. I'm a Jocko fan. The extreme ownership. I have all the books. I love the mentality, all of that.
And can I rip you real quick second, because I had one of our listeners ask me earlier today. Can you just give a quick minute, who Jocko is?
Yeah, hold on. Let's see if this can not screw up the.
Yeah, if not, I'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jocko, and actually, so let me just explain this. Jocko, um, sorry guys, I haven't driven for a while. So this is Jocko Willing, and usually when or what I found over the last few weeks is when I show people, they go, "Oh, that guy!" Like they kind of know. I mean, you can't
He has
mistake
a
that
look.
face.
I mean, he has that Henry Rollins look a little bit to him, but he
He
has a look.
does.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually it was interesting. So after I told the fifth person at work that I had won this and they didn't know who Jocko was, I actually created like
A little.
I don't know who Jocko is starter pack. So I was just like, I'm just gonna text it to you so I don't have to explain it 100 times. But yeah, Jocko is a former Navy SEAL commander turned author, turned influencer, turned has his own line of sports supplements. And so he wrote this book, him and his he's right here, Leif Babin. They were in Afghanistan and Ramadi and been through a lot of stuff together. Friendly, little trivia note: Jocko Willink actually worked with or was in combat with Chris Kyle and a few other Navy SEALs who we hear about over the years. So decorated SEAL. He wrote a book. Him and Leif wrote a book called Extreme Ownership, and it was New York Times bestseller. It really just like it gave a lot of great things that you could do in your life to get better, lots of rules and things like that, and it just turned into so much more. It's more of like a community now, and they do leadership seminars, and they're doing a great job with it. I mean, they're in Australia, they're in Las Vegas, they have them like every 2 months, and they sell out. And I'm just gonna put it out there; it's not really a secret. Their tickets for these seminars cost $3,500.
Yeah,
I
right.
won a $3,500
Yeah,
spot.
I was not
so,
doubting you won it. Yeah, you had won a huge, huge deal.
Yeah, so big thanks to my wife and my family for helping me and work even because we're opening this hotel, we're busy,
Yeah.
and they got it and they were like, yeah, 3 days, make it happen, man, no problem.
No, and
So
I'm gonna second that too because I
yeah,
when these kind of opportunities come up and you're looking at and I'm gonna give a little spoiler to a little later part. You're looking at the timing of this, 3 young kids at home. I mean,
yeah,
everybody under 4. Like it's not like it's
yeah,
an easy and twins and like, oh hey, yeah, no, I know you got school every day and we got all this stuff. And also, yeah, I got to be back by Halloween. So yeah, right. So, which again is a big deal for Jade especially. So, so you fly out there, you did it. You're going out there. How was it?
yeah. I flew out there. It was, and I'm not even joking. It was life changing, and there were so many people who are kind of on the same, not kind of, they're on the same. We're on the same track together. We're like, let me put it to you this way. So it's a very structured seminar, right? I work in this field. I run seminars all the time. Usually people show up at 8 a.m., general session, everybody's up by 5 and they move on with their life, right? We were up at 4 a.m. on the top of the parking garage working out together, right? And then they would give us breakfast. We would go to the general session. We would have lunch. We would gather in the evening. Just, a big community. But
And
here's
this
what
is
I'm trying
me.
to say.
This is me
Yeah.
double checking because I
Yeah.
did a couple times. I was like, all right, when he's saying he's up at 4 a.m., is he just doing that for us? Because like it's really 7 a.m. out. It's 7 a.m. here.
Yeah.
Like, but no, it was not 7 a.m. It was actually, so it was like, yeah, it was 7 a.m. here, but it was actually 4 a.m. there. It wasn't just you. Right.
So that's actually Jocko's known for just taking pictures of his watch every morning because he's done his workout by 4:35. And one of the big things of extreme ownership in the book is he stresses how some of the most successful people he's ever known made it a point to get up at 4 a.m. every morning, even if they went out and got hammered with their SEAL buddies the night before. Right. So, it was integrating it in there. But, just to put a bow on everything and really paint the picture, they had Q&As where we could run up and ask them a question real quick. And somebody asked the question and got the answer that they, I guess, were looking for. But they made it a point to also say, I just want to let you guys know that everybody here knows that you're doing well, knows that you're set up, but we all really appreciate you putting in the effort to helping us all get better. So, and that's really how it is. And listen, some people go like, oh, it's just a money grab. Like, listen, the name of the game is money, right? The name of the game is money. They're good at it. They put a lot of effort into it. I mean, they're making money. That's fine. It's their job. But it's not like it's a pyramid scheme, if that makes sense. It's not like, hey, if you sign up for the next part, you get the next part, right? You know, so lots of good stuff. I just feel great afterwards. I see Shanna here.
Yeah, she's just listening, so she's not.
So yeah,
I mean, she does she gets up early and works out too, but she does not post the time. It's funny when you say that one part about posting time, because I see you do that. I'm assuming that's where you got a little bit of the idea from it.
Yeah.
And while I'm not there in my life yet, I do find that I do see that as like, okay, that was, that's a way to keep your goal on task. I know a lot of people, and we talk about social media all the time. But like social media can really be a positive in that way, because you're kind of holding yourself accountable. So everyone, and again, and I've often thought about that. If I ever can get my life to a point where I can work out, like I'd want to do that. I'd want to post like, all right, here I am at, 260, and then like, I kind of see that positive motivation. We always run that risk of, that one sour lemon we have in our lives. But yeah, so following you along. So besides the workouts and the seminar, there was tons of you got to actually meet them and get books signed. And
yes, that was the other cool thing, is that it's like these guys, they're not Dwayne Johnson 30 million, but they're 2.2 million followers.
Yeah, sure,
right. They're these guys are big deals, and when you pay the price of admission, they understand that. They're walking around. You can ask them questions. They'll sign your books. Like, you're in that circle for 2 days, if that makes sense. Like, they're like, you're paying a good chunk of money, and we're going to give you the attention that we can. So it was really cool in that aspect too.
Yeah. How many people were there?
550 people. Huge ballroom. Huge, beautiful hotel. So yeah, it was really cool. Really cool. And I listen to the podcast. A lot of people listen to the podcast, and it's like, I see him on the podcast. That's Echo Charles over there. That's So it, like, some of us were like geeking like that. So it was really cool, and you get to see like the human side of Jocko. He's hilarious in many ways. So yeah, really good time.
I find it interesting. You made the point about, well, people will say it's a money grab, because I remember hearing these kind of seminars, like Oprah did one a couple summers ago, where it was like that $5,000, like a one-day event. You went to like a Wells Fargo Center and 10,000 people there, and you got to see her speak, and she'd have like a Steve Carell or an Amy Adams or a couple other stars be there to speak with her, but then like it was like a turkey sandwich and an apple orange, like sack lunch, like there was these things that just people would talk about. And again, there was no working out. There was no like where you got to actually meet the people. And it was a one-day event, whereas you're looking at, you were there for a week and you were, really hands-on. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, they like printed out, like they had these beautiful workbooks for notes to follow along with the seminar. And like we did, what do you call them? Like they called them fire team drills, where like you would do drills with the people around you and role play and do fun stuff like that.
Okay.
Productive stuff. So yeah, it wasn't like you said, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just, like watching somebody speak on the stage. They're like, all right, so what we're going to do next? Like it was a class, like you had to participate in the class. So it was really cool. I keep saying it, but I mean, yeah, it was just,
that's really cool.
Awesome.
How was the trip home? Easy peasy.
So listen, the trip there, I kind of knew that this would happen, because that's how it happens in the movies, right? You get there and everything's good.
Everything's good.
I got upgraded to the big seat, as they call it in Spirit. The person sitting next to me did not show up, so I was just like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was just like gold the whole way there.
You used up your trip karma.
I used up. Well, okay, so it's funny. I'll tell you a short story after this. So I used up my trip karma because I'm there in the airport waiting for my flight home. Red eyes are my new favorite, by the way. So my flight's at 11:55 from Las Vegas to Washington, D.C., connecting to Philadelphia. I get a text at 11:30. Hello, your connecting flight from Washington, D.C. to Philly has been canceled due to staffing issues. And I see this on the news. I
You
see it
on
on
the news,
social media. I was like, not me. It's not going to happen to me. I'm so close. I'm right here. 15 minutes out. Boom. So, like I said, it was kind of like the end of The Hangover where they're coming back from Las Vegas and the guy tosses him his suit. I promised my family and work I'd be back on Saturday, so I rented a car in DC, little Honda CRV, got back to Philly, picked up my car, kissed the wife and the kids, went to work, and slept until like 8 o'clock the next morning.
That's crazy. Yeah. But again, again. I was gonna say you took what you did, like Jocko would have said. Get to work. Don't take the day.
Exactly. I was like, and so they actually, one of the really cool things was that they start a Facebook group if you attended it.
Okay.
And they're like, here's something we all can connect as we're there, and hopefully long after. So one of the things that Jocko did was he told a story about, I forget exactly what the situation was, but he was like, do you drive a rental car and your car the same? He's like, no, you don't. He's like, ask any Navy SEAL in here. We're going to see how fast that car can go in reverse, right? So, I took a picture of the CRV when I parked at Philly International, posted a picture in the group, and I was like, Jocko is right. You do drive these things differently. Just, a good laugh because I actually was one of the fortunate ones. A lot of people were much more stranded than I was in Las Vegas. I mean, these airlines are no joke right now.
Yeah, like you talk, say podcast. It's again, and it's. We've talked a lot the last few months about the effects of the pandemic and on wait staff and different businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
But airline is you need a pilot, you need a co-pilot, you need 3 or 4 attendants. Yeah, you need a lot. So
yeah, crazy. It's a lot. So okay, so
now, I didn't get in any flights though. I had no flights in my travels. So
okay, so that was I just got to tell you this because I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please.
So I get a call from my general manager because I wanted to get my hair cut on Friday. He stepped out real quick. And I was like, hey, Ed. And he's like, hey, Ryan. I was like, how are you? He's like, I'm good. I'm at the 4 o'clock meeting that you're not at right now. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, is that what the call's about? He's like, but we're just calling to let you know that you won the raffle and you won tickets to Hamilton tomorrow night. And I was like, I'm winning a lot lately. Exactly. I was like, I'm winning a lot lately. And he's like, so congratulations. And I was like, hey, thank you so much. But actually, my wife's going out tomorrow and I'm watching the kids. So if you could just do that raffle again, right. I appreciate it. So I don't know if I'll win anything else. Maybe I should play the lottery.
I mean, that's a pretty good run, and that gives me a phenomenal segue because I had a lucky lady in my life who won Hamilton tickets.
Oh, did she win them?
She won them. Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, honestly, I realized we haven't talked, so that was like the most pure segue possible right there. That was phenomenal. Yeah. So, and it's funny because she won. She went to it's called Fancy, like her food and nutrition like conference, her food and nutrition conference she went to, and she won a pallet of like rice for the food bank. Beans. Cool. She won a pallet of beans. Sorry, I don't get sued.
Okay.
She won a pallet of beans for the food bank, and then she won the Hamilton tickets. And then she played the lottery, and she won nothing. She paid she got $4 in Mega Millions, $4 in Powerball, and then she got a scratch off, and she didn't think she won. She didn't think she won anything, and then she looked again, and she had won she had unscratched the win all, and so she won $14, or 18 bucks, whatever ish. Because on one of them she hit the Powerball, so she won $4. Yeah, so she had a nice little run there. So that's crazy that you both won Hamilton tickets. So
Hamilton's hot right now.
Yeah. We won them in New York City. She won them. I didn't do anything. She won them in New York City, so that was cool. So
what is New York City like right now?
I was going to say I should. Yeah. So I'm going to
been there.
I'm going to do a photo dump later because I was doing very specific posts about where we were at.
Right. Yeah.
But I was taking a ton of photos. I would tell you, July 2019. Was the last time I was there.
Yeah.
But I was acting like I was acting a little bit like it was my first time or I hadn't been back in 20 years. You know,
Okay.
I'm sitting there in Times Square doing the like twirl around, looking at the, you know, like look at. And again, it might have been in 2019. I took it for granted, but in 2021, looking up, I don't think there is. Everything's a TV. You know, when
Yeah.
you're right there where Elmo
Yeah.
is and Naked Cowboy is, when you're flipping around, like everything's a TV. There are 18 different things happening, and we, you know, and that was just, you know, and again, I didn't want to put, again, there's not much to do, and actually, we got scammed right away. So Shanna, I didn't want to do it, but like I would just
No, what
walk up.
happened?
It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a scam. It was the gentleman said, "Hey, you want to listen to my music? Take my CD. Hey, I'm giving you my CD for free." Like, oh, that's very nice. You know?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
That happened to
thanks,
Monica
you know?
and I in New York.
Right. He's like, "Hey, you want this CD for free? You're just trying to get my music out there." He's like, "All I'm asking is like for just a small donation." And I'm like, I was like, "Okay, yeah, you know, I'm going in to get." And again, did the freaking corn-fed Kansas mistake? Take out my wallet that has, you know, and he's just like, "Yeah, most people give 20." And I'm like,
Yeah. There
Yeah,
it
right.
is.
I'm like,
Used to
you
five,
know what?
I see a 20 there.
Right. I was like, you know what? Honestly, whatever. Like he's working his work, you know. Meanwhile, Shanna's got the other guys going to Shanna and be like, "Oh, hey, oh, is this your man?" Like, and so she's like, "Yeah, you know, you got to give give me some money for your ladies CDs." And so I was like, I hand him a 10. He's like, "Well, we really only take 20s." I'm like, I was like, "That's all good." But so that was still there. That fun was still there. But other than that little bump, it was, you know, it's just so neat. It's, you know, all the stereotypes there. There's no other place like it, you know. And then we spent 3 or 4 stressful days trying to plan this trip. Like we really wanted it to be tight and fit as much as possible into our weekend in the city, and you know, see a couple shows, knowing Hamilton would be the last thing at 3:00 on Sunday. So I wanted to see another show, wanted to stay in it, and then I was like, you know what? It's $20 for the Hamilton ticket she won. It's $10 a ticket.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they would normally cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Let's take that money. I want to stay at the W. I want to stay at the W. With my discount, $390 for the night. You know, you know, but like, listen, that's still, we're still coming out ahead for what Hamilton tickets would have cost.
Yeah.
But Miss Shanna it was a little too much for her, a little too, you know. But the thing I put my foot down was I was not interested in staying half mile, you know, 0.3. They're like, oh, it's only 0.3 miles. It's like, I wanted to stay there. I wanted to, you know. So eventually, with those parameters, the Hotel Edison, which is right next to and touches the W in New York City, but 1931 Hotel Edison, very nice. Haven't stayed in it was funny. Excuse me, us travelers are used to these newer hotels where, you know, it's just these modern. It was just a bathroom with like a toilet and a bathtub, you know, like, and you know, you can still see the tape wrapped around the pipes in the, you know, clean, really nice, perfect for, you know, what we needed to do. But it was just, and again, like, and it had a you know, it had a bed and a TV, you know, like, and that was it, you know, that was it.
Yeah.
Whereas like we stayed in a loft the night before in Secaucus, where like, you know, there's a table and a bench around it, you know. I mean, the lofts are just wicked weird. And so, but it served our purpose because, and I will post this video later, if you went out the right door, the play Waitress we saw was right there.
Yeah.
You went out the left door, Hamilton was right across the street. You know, the two restaurants, the two main restaurants we went to, made a left right down 46th Street. They were right there. You know, it really worked out. Of all the discounts, my NGAA card got me $80 off, so the hotel was a little more affordable. So a really nice time. Hamilton was amazing. I mean, we went to see Waitress just to do something, and Shannon wound up loving it. I loved it. I'd been listening to music all summer, and it had Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland as the lead.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
It was kind of cool to see like a pretty big star on a play, and then all the meals were top notch. And then Hamilton was. We went into Hamilton with this idea that like my cousin had won probably in like the first year of Hamilton, had won the lottery, and was like, "Oh, they're front row seats." I was like, "I can't. You don't do front row seats for a lot. You know, these are got to be the, you know." And we got them. And Shanna takes a little picture of something, and she shows me. And with my bad eyes, I look at it. It said, "No drinks allowed in the front room." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "All right, yeah, maybe they don't want any drinks in the front room, you know." And we go there and they sit us and we're right there in the front row, and the paper actually said no drinks in the front row. I just can't, I can't read. So no drinks in the front row because they were like, hey, listen, everybody's backstage. All the actors are backstage without their masks on. So we don't want the people in the front row taking their masks off constantly to drink. So I was like, first off, like,
sorry, I couldn't help my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm not like a COVID hater. I'm just like,
no. But it was just, but I found it too.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, if you're sitting at Hamilton, like you're not just woofing down drinks, you know.
I'm not like,
yeah, you're right. You're not
doing the cap back on.
Right. No, again, everyone, and again, people still brought the drinks. You take the mask down. And New York City though was a real. I mean, that could spark a whole other COVID like vaccine. You know, you had to show your card everywhere you went, which for me made me feel better. And it would be funny in certain places. It would be like they're looking at my ID to see my name. They're looking at my name. Other places was just like you're showing me something. You know, like that's it.
So I'm I shouldn't say confused. I don't know. So I think a few of my peers who still work in New York City, you don't need your mask if you're vaccinated. Is that true?
That's what all of the doors say.
Okay. So
every
like
door
employees
says,
don't have to wear them if they're vaccinated.
Right. And if Shanna can from the other room or remind me, but I feel like most people were wearing them.
Yeah, and I know that's that's been the case for a long time. I'm like, I go to work and I instinctively know that I can't leave my office without my mask.
Right.
I come home, I can go to Wawa, and I don't have my mask. I don't have to wear my mask, right? So I'm still like one of those people where I'm just like, I don't really know what the deal is here. I just forget if that makes sense. I'm just like, wait, what state am I in? Oh, that's right. I can just
it's always interesting to me because I'm close to a 24/7 mask wearer, even though I'm vaccinated up the wazoo, as they say. But again, and it's just one of those things like, walking around Times Square is like everybody is from everywhere. Also, New York City Marathon weekend, so it was extra. It's interesting. Someone asked me, is it like it used to be? And I'm like, it's not like it used to be. It was still, even with like something like New York City Marathon, it should have been like elbow to elbow. It was not as crowded as it used to be. And I don't know what, I think maybe they're limited by certain things. And I don't know if people are turned off by having to show their vaccines. And every other block there is testing vans to get 10-minute tests. So
what?
Yeah. So if you,
because that's a different world, dude.
Yeah. Well, if you show up with, if you show up with the kids and you want to go see, if you showed up with Jade or, wanted to go see the play, Jade would have to have a negative test.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So I think there's a bunch of, if you show up with your negative tests, but what you would say to your time in New York, run incredibly efficient. Like, like all of the, we went to 2, but we walked by enough. Like they have a system down. It's not a chaotic, like, oh, you need to show me this. Like, they get you through one line to another line. I think one of the highlights was the bathroom lines in the musicals are hysterical because it's, I don't know if it's 75% women who are at these shows, but there's all these old theaters just have one bathroom, and
I can't with that.
Yeah, and they just, which I was like saying, just come into the men's room with me, like no one cares, but yeah. So that was New York. It was neat to kind of get out and actually do something that felt. Again, and I was talking to someone today. I was like, I've gone to baseball games, I've gone to hockey games, I've gone to tons of things, movie theaters, all the concerts. But something about being on Broadway, New York, just felt like that felt momentous.
Well, that was the big one. That was the big one. I remember, we were all, my peers and I, or my friends who live in New York, obviously, and me, I just work there, but I'm still connected to it, if you will, a good portion or a very, very good chapter in my life, if that makes sense. Something that I'll always hold near and dear, and people I still connect with, and to this day, and I'll love them for as long as I live. But the point I'm trying to make is that them more than I, felt the walls closing in on the pandemic, right? And the real the real one that made our knees collapse was when it was like Broadway's not opening until January 2021. And we were like, what? You know what I mean? Like, it's Broadway. Like, you want to like limit restaurants, you want to do this, you want to shut this down, whatever. But like when you're telling us like, yeah, Broadway will not open until January 2021. That's when we were just like, that's when we, remember when everything was very weird?
Yep.
That's when you were like, there goes New York City. Like New York City's done. Like it's Broadway and it was shut down. So yes, to see it come back and I haven't been there, but from what you're telling me and from what I've heard and seen, it's like that's a very good sight to see, if that makes sense. Broadway coming back to life in the way it is.
No, and again, I can't imagine being there without it. Without it, like yeah, I'm sure that's what people were saying. Like it was like walking through a ghost town months ago and a year ago. So very cool. Did you see the box office?
What is
Can you guess who was number one at the box office?
I am like, with the way work has been.
This is funny, right? I would.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious if you.
I'm actually.
I mean, you've heard of the number one movie, but I'm curious if you've heard of. I was gonna say you've heard of all the top. I was gonna say you couldn't guess any of the top five. How busy you've been.
Yeah. Well, no, I couldn't even like. So just to like put a comedic spin on it, I come home and I'm like, I pull out my work laptop and eat before I come down here, just because it's such a busy week. And I'm like, let me try to do a little bit of work before I go down there. I'm like, everything good, babe? Like as I'm looking at the computer, and she was like, yeah, da, 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 da. And yeah, so this girl I was talking to get ready for or interview for babysitting gigs for February, because our babysitter is taking leave to handle a very big positive personal life moment. But I was just like, what's going on in February? Like, I'm just like, I didn't know somebody was coming by to be interviewed. Like, and listen, she doesn't take it personally. She knows that like it's just ridiculous at work right now. But I'm just kind of like, So yes, I wouldn't know what the top five is at this moment.
Well, Eternals was number one with 71 million. So.
Oh, have you seen it? Because I just hear bad things.
No, I was very busy this week. I'm sorry, I'm not big. That was not meant sarcastically, but I was busy this weekend, and I was like, I don't want to just kind of jam it in. We probably could have jammed it into the weekend, but it was so interesting at work today because everyone was just like, yeah, I don't want to see it. It's so bad. But people who have seen it, I'm seeing mixed reviews there, but I'm seeing people who are like, that was amazing. That was a great movie. And then I'm also seeing people who are just like, yeah, it was a little too boring for me. So I will say it. I don't know how much it advances the rest of the Marvel universe, but 71 million for a movie that had tons of bad reviews that, it's pretty impressive. Again, and then it goes down to Dune making 7.8, No Time to Die making 6 million, Venom hanging in there with 4.5. And Ron's Gone Wrong with 3.6.
What the hell is Ron's Gone Wrong?
Ron's Gone Wrong is
looking it up right now.
Yeah, you're gonna see it's. I want to say it's the future. A couple years in the future, every kid gets this little like. It looks like a white minion with like it looks like a little like.
It's a CGI thing.
Yeah, and then and so every kid gets their own Ron, and this kid gets a Ron that's really like messed up and wacky and. And I guess the friendship with his misfit Ron goes well. So
Ron's going. You know what? And anybody who's been paying attention to the movie, the box office numbers, which I'm sure there are people like ourselves who do it. That's the trend. The one on top, 71 million, then 8.
Yeah, right.
6, and you and I have talked about it for weeks now, and it's like nothing is changing there. Even
right, and
they need a big summer,
right? And that's the thing. Even if like in Eternals, in a normal time, in Eternals might have been 100 million or something, but the second movie would have been 29. Like there would have been something. There would have been something, and that's right. That's been our trend for as long as we've done this show. It's the number one movie made 30 million, and it was 1.6 million. It's so. But Dune is available on HBO Max at the same time, so that's interesting to see that's decent, I guess. So, but again, a movie like Dune is expecting to make 50 million a couple weeks in a row, and what
I hear good things about Dune.
Yeah, I've heard good things too. I've never watched the old one or kind of been exposed to it. So thinking of the stories in the 3 weeks we've been gone, Rust was up a lot.
I was gonna bring that. Okay, so we all know it happened, but I'll go first and then get your
please,
opinion as we tie things in. We all know what happened. A tragedy. It sounds like things were a bit mismanaged there. Richard and I weren't there, just from the information that's coming out.
Yeah, of course, right.
There were some things that were mismanaged. I feel terrible about the scrutiny and the publicity that Alec Baldwin is getting. Right? I like Alec Baldwin. Love him in The Departed. Love him as an actor. I don't love him when he punches taxi drivers. I don't care about the SNL part. Right? People make that political. Listen, he's funny. Whatever. Right? I'm not suddenly turning this tragedy into a political matter like some people are. So that's where I'm at. That's my short little bit of it. I have felt terrible about the way he's just been, in the media and the memes and all that stuff. But that's where I'm at with everything. How have you felt over all of it?
Yeah,
it was like 3 weeks long.
Right, and it was interesting that they tried to make it. When I say try, the people we've literally done podcasts about it. People will do anything, but this wasn't like, this was an accident.
Yeah.
And again, and Alec Baldwin, we really interested to see how he comes back from this, because that's something would, like, we're literally, you and I both do this. We've literally like wake up at night going, oh, wait, did I close that door? Did I leave that? Or did I say that wrong to my boss today when I asked my boss,
I know
he like, and again, I'm not making light in anything, but like, like he was filming a movie and a gun went off and a person is, life is lost. And again, it sounds, this is the number one thing I kept hearing in the last few weeks. I'm sorry, why is there live rounds? Why, and then I've heard people say that it sounds better, it looks better. But in 2021, I watched Thor fight the Hulk, and it looks, and I'm not at any point going, oh, that looks dumb. I'm like, oh yeah, no, those are two gods fighting, So you could make a muzzle and a shotgun go. You could do a bunch of things and not worry about it. But again, it's probably one of those old Hollywood traditions that I think is definitely going to see its way. But again, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say was that I've had this conversation with a few people. One of my friends in Las Vegas, who's a firearms enthusiast, and I'm always watching behind the scenes stuff. Huge John Wick fan, huge movie fan, as we all know. And I know that people are trying to make sure there's no real guns on sets anymore, right? And I get I get where it's coming from, right? But from what I've seen, and I think from what we've all seen the video of Keanu Reeves on Facebook or YouTube where he's running the firearms drills. What I want to say is that it just sounds like this. What was the title? Armory specialist or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Was just either inexperienced, reckless, whatever the case may be. Because you see these people putting together movies like John Wick, where it's all gunfights, it's all fighting, and there's just so much care, practice, training, repetition. People are proceeding with caution during filming, right? So I don't know how that pans out because I was talking to somebody about this and like to your point, like The Rookie is a great example, right? The gunfights you see them go like this, like you see them purposely moving it in the muzzle flash. And I just don't know if that would work for something like John Wick. So I'm on the fence. I get where it's coming from. I understand the need. I've never been in this situation. I see where the caution is coming from, but I think that there are film crews who are very cautious with what they're doing, if that makes sense.
And that's why I think the scrutiny has gone to the armorer and different aspects of Rust, because like dozens and hundreds of sets have done this over the years, and this only happens a couple of times, so so that happened.
Yeah.
I'm not Tragic. Again, this is how you accidentally get canceled. But then but that's the point. Like, I feel like you can prevent canceling by going. I think I'm sorry. I realized that the timing in that video of my laughing after talking about it was more because I was trying to segue into the next news bit, and I just got a little nervous and I laughed, and there was no. So Sarah Jessica Parker was in the news this week.
So Richard, he just ran out of things to say, and he just was like, "Yeah, so that happened."
Yeah,
it was innocent. It was innocent.
Right, like, yeah. So, and again, we do repeat a lot of the same things. I know we both strive to be open-minded and keep our opinions. And the Sarah Jessica Parker news article is basically that she kind of made a statement saying, and again, this is not brand new. Tons of other people have kind of talked about this. Hollywood is clearly sexist and ageist. Sexist and ageist because a 45-year-old man. Yeah, a 45-year-old man is playing the romantic lead. 45-year-old woman is playing the mom. Almost going to be a grandmom. And
so right there, Pierce Brosnan. Unless
you're right, exactly. Right. Yep. And again, it's that kind of thing. Like Kevin Costner, Yellowstone just had its season debut yesterday rather, and Kevin Costner's there, and I'm like, yeah, he's 75. But again,
is he?
Yeah, he's yeah. You know what? I might have jumped the gun, but that's the thing. Like Kevin Costner age. 66. I was way wrong, but still. So,
he looks good for 66.
But still, he looks good for 66. But again, they would put him in a movie where he's dating a 44-year-old, whereas a 66-year-old woman is held under that scrutiny. So Sarah Jessica Parker making those comments, and the idea that you look at Anderson Cooper and you say, oh, Anderson Cooper, or who does? I was going to say Monica there. Who does What Happens Now? Andy Cohen or Anderson Cooper, who have the kind of the gray hair, the silver hair, and Anderson Cooper's called the Silver Fox.
He's come up in a couple sexiest
right
lists. Yeah,
but again, if a female actress had gray hair, they're just they're discriminated against, and I had all these kind of mixed thoughts because I'm like, well, and I was like, yeah, no, the reason I'm thinking the thoughts I am is because of the stereotype that's been kind of continued through Hollywood of making me think, oh no, an attractive older woman has to have straight hair that is colored and is dark, and they don't have gray hairs. And so I kind of see her point, because again, when she's filming Sex and the City in New York City right now, and there's this thought that oh yeah, why would anyone want to have sex with these women? It's just dumb. And so that's the story we're going to keep following here on the.
Do you know who my favorite older actress is? When it comes to wow, she's still doing it. Oh, actually, it's a tie now that I think about it. Well, first up would be.
It's funny because there is a significant age difference between us. So when you say old, I'm curious.
Older.
Sure.
Diane Keaton still looks fabulous.
And I was gonna say she's older than Kevin Costner, right?
And then she's just always lovely looking. Michelle Pfeiffer. No, what is that recent? Yeah, she still looks great.
Diane Keaton's super old.
Yeah, man. She's freaking.
Sorry, she's 75. She's 75. I just got my thing. Salma Hayek is older too,
and she looks fabulous as well.
Diane Keaton was in The Godfather.
Yeah, man. People
she
forget that.
Yeah, I mean, I literally quote. Yeah, you literally say because Kay is the name of my library assistant, and I literally and poor Kay.
You ever told her not to ask you about your
all
business?
The time?
Yes.
She knows. She knows not to. I can say you can ask me this just this one time, Kay, and then she knows. She gets it. The poor lady works hard, but once a week she has to deal with me going. You can ask me about my business one time, Kay. So. Yeah, I kind of forget about that. I had one more story, or did I have two more stories? I'll let you guess. Did I have one story or two more stories? Oh, I have two stories.
Go ahead. Let's do it.
Did you know that Judge Judy is now Judy Justice? Yeah, from your face, I could tell you did not.
Okay,
know.
so now we should totally do a podcast on Dr. Phil and Judy Justice, right? The
Right.
evolution.
So, what I think she realized was that, she's got 25 plus years of working for the same company, which, she's a millionaire, many times over. But now she got out of that contract, and now she's on IMDb channel. She's streaming with Judy Justice. It's all the same thing, other than it's Judy Justice. And now she has now all the money comes to her. So, yeah.
Oh, she couldn't take Judge Judy with her.
She couldn't take Judge Judy with
Got
her.
it.
And she'll still get residuals from the repeats and, the countless. And that's what I don't know. And I'll let our resident Judge Judy expert channel let me know is like how long Judge Judy's going to keep playing on like Fox in the afternoons, or does that or do they end at a certain point because there's no news shows, or do they keep running repeats? So yeah, just going to keep being repeats, and that's the thing, like, because Judge Judy is that beyond perfect kind of like background noise. It's just on. You kind of have to pay attention to it. So
yeah, she's not doing well. She's only making $47 million a year. It looks like.
Yeah. But listen, that's why. As I personally am not a religious person, but I respect. Like, we need religion out there so that people can pray for people like Judge Judy going through this at this time.
They're starting to GoFundMe for Justice Judy,
so
she can get back on her feet now that everything's happening.
Now, I will tell you that I know we've said multiple times how busy we've kind of been the last few weeks, but I was shocked you did not text me the other day when they announced the casting of Wicket and who would be Glinda and Elphaba.
Oh my goodness! Wait! I didn't check this. I didn't even hear about this. Yo, so just to kind of put right.
Yeah, you're literally right. No, because the last Oppenheimer news story was like before Halloween, like
so actually, yeah, I think I posted.
It was weird doing research for my news segment. You didn't provide for me, so I was like, oh.
So, well, you watch enough movies, you go to a Jocko seminar, you come back, you put on the backpack, you take a picture with James walking behind you because you're all, all spiritual and stuff now. And, you just don't go on Facebook as much. More of it was just being busy, but I was surprised. I was like, I got my little notification yesterday and it said screen time down 39% from
that's pretty cool.
Before. Wait, I'm looking. Wait, petition to get James Corden out.
Yeah, so that's so no matter what's happening in it's very careful. It's a petition to keep Jordan. It's to keep it right. Did you say it right? To keep him out. Like he hasn't been cast. They are just worried that James Corden who he was cast in Into the Woods. He was cast in The Cats, and they're both kind of like
Cats Into the Woods.
Yeah, they do not want him. Musical fans do not want him anywhere near Wicket, even though they're like, "Oh, he'd be perfect to play the wizard or something." Like, they do not want him near with Wicket. So
he's the only thing that's popping up. Who's the cast?
So they've only cast the two main witches. The one is, and I apologize if you're listening, Cynthia Erivo, who was you've definitely seen. She was Harriet Tubman. Yep, she was Harriet Tubman, and then Glinda is Ariana Grande, who while again she has her detractors, she can sing and she can do this and she can do that voice of Glinda the Good Witch. So it should be that I'm happy with that casting, and I'm just excited to see a musical. I hope they do it right. Last few musicals like Wicket, like Cats, did not work out great. In the Heights did not work out great. So.
Yeah,
it'll be cool to see Wicket. Yeah, it's interesting in a time where like when Broadway was closed, you thought people would have went crazy over Cats. They just messed up because they just made that. They should have just had people in costumes, and it would have gone better. They just went with this CGI.
I heard it was weird and scary.
Yeah, they just went with weird and scary. To close up our show, I do need to talk to you a little bit about Halloween because I kept meaning to text you. So who came up? Who was the biggest crybaby of the day? Or did they take times kind of mixing it up?
Axe was the biggest crybaby
Okay.
for sure. Axe is, so just so we all know, Axe is the baby of the family. He is a crybaby, and he's always acting like this. Like just to give you kind of a actually, can you see?
Yeah.
This stood out to me. His face, his angry face.
Yeah, no, like does he not know the whole point of this is to go get Candy Kid and
James is over here looking like he's got Copenhagen in his lip. He's just
yeah.
like ready to like spit in the tin. But so just to give you an idea, Axe, I gently rolled him over after changing his diaper, and he goes, and like
Yeah,
that's just, you have to like love Axe the right way, otherwise he just like cries for hours. And then we always have Jimmy the good boy, because, and I always say this, like James and Jade and Axe can be fighting each other, ripping each other's hair, pulling, punching, screaming, scratching, and by the time we break up the chaos, we turn around and James is just like, right, like not getting involved, and he's just kind of the kid, like he's the kid in the movie that you don't intentionally forget about. He's just so good and quiet that you're like, oh, James, you're just such a good boy, and that's why he's called Jimmy the good boy. So
yeah, no, that's a great nickname to have, kid. Yeah, so
Axe is the crybaby.
Yeah, I did love the costumes. They look great. Jay definitely understood the assignment. She looked perfect.
Yeah, they look great. Monica nailed it because
because you were off hanging out with your boys in Las Vegas. So. Another shit.
And just one more thing to wrap it up. So the event started on Wednesday. So I told Monica, I was like, hey babe, I got to take the plane out Tuesday, and she just texts back, Tuesday ? And I'm like, yeah, and she's like, the one night I asked you to be home so I could go see Cat and Nat with my girlfriends.
Right,
yeah,
like, right. Yeah, right, because she did that. Right. Because
so
I remember. I remember thinking that, like, oh yeah, it was like those guys are so good at planning because they were able to pull this off. He was flying out. That's great. Yeah. Well, I'm glad she was able to pull it off, and obviously, you have the people who stepped up.
Yeah. So we all, Richard pulled it off. We pulled it off. Richard did Comic-Con. What is it? Your nephew's the football star?
My nephew plays football. Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah. It was yeah. So, but again, it was all like this triumphant. Not triumphant weekend for my nephew, but just like between Baltimore and it's just been nonstop and then I had a book fair in the middle there, so it was just nonstop. For like 3 weeks. But now no more comic book shows for a long time. No more football games for a long time. No more Broadway plays for a little bit. So I look forward to just kind of vegging and chilling out. But not for too long, as Jocko would say, because you can't. I'm sorry, I don't want to guess.
I was about to say, I was like, please say something so we can be like, Jocko, do you say that?
Right, yeah. Like, again, don't let the moss grow under your feet or something about that. Because again, like that's what I will tell you is a huge mistake I make is like, I just ran nonstop for 3 weeks. Nonstop. I just want to chill. And that chill turns into 3 weeks of chilling, and then it's like, oh yeah. And then it's like, oh, hey, like, did you got time for this? Like, I'm exhausted from doing nothing, and so
it happens though.
Yeah, it really does. So,
it's touchy,
I joined some more step bets. So I've been doing some step bets. I took a couple weeks off, but I joined three more to kind of force me to get out there and walk. So cool. All right. That was good to be back. Thanks for having, and as always, pushing and continuing us.
No, we did it. We're back. And when I say we're back, we'll let you know if we're back next week. Next week, we'll see.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't do any advertising for this. We just
jumped in.
Our viewership. Listen, if our viewership numbers are down, it's because we didn't have that advertising.
I actually was thinking while I was moving tables all day. I was like, if I get a promo in, we at least get 4 viewers. So I got to try, and it just never happened. But
it's all good.
We'll make it happen.
It's the syndication and reruns that were really gonna pay off for us.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
Be safe.
All right. I'll see you next time. We'll see everybody next time. Bye-bye.